Going digital. It's one global village. Why then do you live back in the days? Don't be left behind. Join the new normal of digital world. Let radio and television be at your fingertips. Get news and current events, entertainment, sports, kiddies programs, and more at your beck and call on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Just visit and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on all social media platforms. Then you are a global citizen. Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Voice of the voiceless.
It is essential to be up to date on happenings around you, and to make that easy for you, ladies and gentlemen, we present Freshlight, where we bring fresh newspaper headlines to the limelight. Mondays to Saturdays, 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Watch, like, subscribe, and make sure your notification is activated on our YouTube channel. You can also like and comment on our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. It's the 9th day in October 2023, a beautiful Monday morning, and I'm sure it is a beautiful one on the other side watching us live on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Welcome to Freshlight, the fresh episode for the week, for the month 2023. And of course on Freshlight we go through some of the stories and headlines we have in our daily this morning to keep ourselves updated on happenings around us, right in the country and even outside Nigeria. My name is Modupe, Akinyosoye. Welcome to Freshlight once again. Without further ado, as always and usual, I have a couple of newspapers with me this morning, which we'll be perusing. I have the Punch newspaper, I have the Vanguard newspaper, I have the Disney newspaper, and I also have the Nation newspaper this beautiful morning. Let's start with the Punch newspaper. Let's see what we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper to start with. CBN investigator probes banks over 1.27 trillion naira intervention funds. We have that with double riders, and you get a detail of that on page 2 in the Punch newspaper. Away from that, governors, Labour begin talks over 35,000 naira wage award. You have that on page 9 in the Punch newspaper. And also 1,000 killed as Israeli Hamas conflict rages. United States deploys munitions. You have that on page 29 in the Punch newspaper. On Japa syndrome, federal government okays contract jobs for retired doctors. You also get a detail of that on page 8 in the Punch newspaper. Away from that, also from the front page, federal government to grill N-Power consultants plans 5 million jobs. You have that on page 21 in the Punch newspaper. Road crashes, death dropped by 1,118, says FRSC. Page 7 as that very story. On pension in 2.4 trillion naira deficit before reforms, PENCOM Director General revealing that on page 28 in the Punch newspaper. And also you get to see Sanwo-Olu orders demolition of markets built on drainage. And you get to see the picture of the governor, and right on the front page of the Punch newspaper. The details on page 6 in the Punch newspaper. And let's quickly go through the Punch newspaper. Let's see some of the stories that we can give out this morning. All right, we start with this very report from the Punch newspaper. The business page. CBN investigator probes banks over 1.27 trillion naira intervention funds. The chief executive officers and top management staff of banks may also be probed during the ongoing investigation of the activities of the Central Bank of Nigeria, according to findings by the Punch. It was learned that some bank CEOs would be invited in an effort to ascertain and discrepancies around the management of intervention funds by deposit money banks. The Punch had earlier reported that the Central Bank of Nigeria may be asked to withdraw its audited annual financial reports, which were recently released. CBN investigator probed banks over 1.27 trillion naira intervention fund. You get that from the business page of the Punch newspaper. And let's quickly take a trip outside the country with this very story. 1,000 killed as Israeli-Hamas conflict rages. United States deploys munitions. Israel reeling from the deadliest attack on its territory in half a century, formally declared war on Hamas on Sunday as the conflict death toll surged to 1,000 after the Palestinian militant group launched a massive surprise assault from Gaza. AFP reports that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stewed the shocked and grieving nation for a long and difficult war ahead after Hamas launched a barrage of rockets at Israel before dawn on Saturday and sent in fighters who gunned down civilians and took at least 100 hostages. And several Germans who are also Israeli nationals were among those kidnapped by militants of the Palestinian Hamas group during its raids into Israel, German ministerial sources said on Sunday. You get the details of that very foreign story from the Punch newspaper. 1,000 killed as Israeli and Hamas conflict rages. United States deploys munition. And back to Nigeria, let's take this from the neighboring Benin Republic. Sunday, Igboho regains freedom in Benin after 2 years. The Yoruba Nation agitator Sunday Adeyemo, better known as Sunday Igboho, has regained his freedom from the Beninese authorities. The embattled agitator said on Sunday he was now legally free to leave Cotonou, capital of Benin Republic, to Nigeria and other country. You get the details of that and the words of Sunday Igboho right in the Punch newspaper with the headline, Sunday Igboho regains freedom in Benin after 2 years. And away from that, we also have this very report. Murik begs Tinubu to repair Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. The Muslim rights concern on Monday sent a Save Our Soul message to President Bola Tinubu over the deplorable condition of the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. The Lagos and Ogun chairman of the group, Dr. Busari Ademola and Alhaji Jimo Alao, in a statement said that the 81-kilometer federal highway has continued to be a death trap. Quoting, "We are calling on the federal government to revisit the construction of Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway." The rest of that in the Punch newspaper. Murik begs Tinubu to repair Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. You get the details in the Punch newspaper. And also talking about the power sector. Federal government grows national grid power capacity to 14,000 megawatts. The federal government, through the Association of Power Generation Companies, has grown the power capacity of the national grid from 13,000 megawatts recorded a few years ago to about 14,000 megawatts. APGC's Executive Secretary, Dr. Joy Ogaji, while speaking with the Punch on the sideline of the Association of Energy Correspondents of Nigeria's 2023 Annual International Strategic Conference last week, Thursday, and electricity generation capacity to the national grid has increased to almost 14,000 megawatts. Mr. Ogaji explained that Dr. Ogaji explained that the increase was brought about due to the addition of a $1.3 billion Niger State based 700 megawatts Zungeru hydroelectric plants, which came on stream in the second quarter of the year. Federal government grows national grid power capacity to 14,000 megawatts. You get the details in the Punch newspaper as well. And moving away from the Punch, let's see what we have in another newspaper, starting from the front page. Let's pick up the Nation newspaper to see what we have on the front page of the Nation newspaper. Okay. Federal government targets 5 million jobs in 5 years for youth. We have that with double riders, and you get the details of that on page 2 in the Nation newspaper. Also from the front page of the Nation, Governor seeks dredging of River Niger and Benue to halt flooding. We have that on page 27 in the Nation newspaper. Speaker sets performance benchmark for Lagos councils. Page 29 captures that very story. Eminent industrialist Chris Ogumbanjo dies at 99. You have that on page 27 as well in the Nation newspaper. Jay's Bank to raise 5.4 billion naira in rights issue at NGX. Page 14 captures that very story. Afe Babalola lifts Ekiti farmers with 12 million naira. You have that on page 29 in the Nation newspaper. Igboho, I'm ready to return. Page 29 captures that very story. 1,000 killed in 2 days of Israeli-Palestinian M-East war, or Middle East war. We have that with a rider. Egypt, Turkey moves to de-escalate crisis. You have the details of that very foreign story on page 2 in the Nation newspaper. And also from the front page, why banks should follow rules in granting loans to government. You have the details of or the reason on page 2 as well in the Nation newspaper. Stakeholders says insecurity is still challenge to South-South development. Page 26 captures that very story. And of course, you get to see Ogun State Governor and Chairman, Kogi State APC Governorship Campaign Council, Prince Dapo Abiodun, Vice President Kashim Shettima, right on the front page of the Nation newspaper. And let's quickly go through the Nation newspaper to see the stories that we have. All right, we start with this very story right here. Nigeria Customs Service probes $40 million Arik Air aircraft deal. The Nigeria Customs Service, NCS, has instituted an inquiry into alleged sale of 3 aircraft in the fleet of Arik Air Limited under the receivership of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON. The Nation has learned the deal, according to sources, is estimated to be around $40 million. While the management of the airline admitted that it was cooperating with the NSC to provide details on the alleged aircraft sale, it however said the controversial airplanes Q400, CRJ1000 and CRJ900 were taken over by their foreign owners who decided to sell them to new operators. Nigeria Customs Service probes $40 million Arik Air aircraft deal. The details in the Nation newspaper. Away from that very story, we also have this story from the Nation. Federal government targets 5 million jobs in 5 years for youth. This comes with several riders, triple riders to be precise. Better Idea says scheme will be efficient. Ajaokuta still to employ 500,000. Shettima firm 98% already. The federal government has set a target of 5 million jobs for youth in 5 years through the N-Power, which is undergoing a review. The plan is to create a million jobs each year. Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betaidu, has said. And according to her, the government is reviewing the program to restore confidence in it. Quoting the minister, National Program Manager Dr. Akindele Egbowalo said the restructuring was ongoing. She added that more programs would be introduced, including in education, health, works, agriculture, technology, fashion, and entertainment. Edu explained that the program was suspended to allow for a detailed investigation into its operations in the last 12 months. From the Nation, federal government targets 5 million jobs in 5 years for youth. And away from that, let's move to the sports page of the Nation newspaper with this very report. Napoli consider Jesus as Osimhen's replacement. The last is yet to be heard about the frosty relationship between Victor Osimhen and Napoli, as the club management are considering Arsenal striker Gabriel Jesus as a potential replacement for the Nigerian. Osimhen was a big part of the Italian side's first Serie A title in 33 years last season, as it topped the league scoring chart with 26 goals. The goals have continued this season, but his future at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona is uncertain after a row over the club's TikTok. Osimhen was the subject of 2 offensive clips shared on the popular social media app, with the first seemingly deriding him for missing a penalty late last month. The second then labeled him a coconut and has been viewed as a racial slur. You get the details of that very story in from the sports pages of the Nation newspaper. Napoli consider Jesus as Osimhen's replacement. Let's quickly dash into our commercial room. We'll be back for more headlines on Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Stay with us.
Thousands have been disappointed severally in their bid to seek greener pasture abroad. To those quack in the traveling agency business, it is a rocket science. That is not our case at Tausaf Travels and Tour. We have in-depth details on how to successfully, without stress, help you process and secure your visa to anywhere in the world. Do you want permanent residential visa, visiting and tourism visa, student visa to places like Europe, America, Asia, Africa? It's no big deal to us at Tausaf Travels and Tour. Our years of experience and expertise speaks volume for us. Let's process and secure visa for you to UK, USA, and Canada within a twinkle of an eye. We offer Hajj and Umrah services to our Muslim faithfuls. What are you waiting for? Consult us at number 9 Tausaf Central Mall, Sholanke Street, behind Laroy Hotel, Abiola Way, Abeokuta. 0802 733 0900 or 0806 578 4060. Stop wasting money. Pay for peace of mind. Talk to Tausaf Travels and Tour.
Gbogbo aláfẹ́ tó gbayì tó fẹ́ wọṣọ yìí ṣoge tó bágbàmú ló ń kọjá lọ sí House of Zayana. House of Zayana, the name I know when we talk of top-notch fashion, quality materials and class. House of Zayana, lẹ́tí máa rójúlówó Turkey wears, Egypt and Malaysia clothing, Dubai, àwọn designer bags lóríṣiríṣi, àwọn ìtẹ̀lẹ̀ bàtà tó jiná tí wọ́n fa wọ original ṣe, àwọn aago kájọ́ tó ń ka wákàtí ọjọ́, designer sunglasses and perfumes, pẹ̀lú àwọn gbogbo nǹkan tóbìnrin àsìkò fi ń gbafẹ́ lò gbà. Mo débẹ̀ ojú mi ń ṣe kámi. Èmi ni ó rà, èmi ni ó mú. Gbogbo ẹ̀yin mùsùlùmí ẹlẹ́sìn tẹ́ gbòógì gbọ́n pa fashion tẹ́ wá nílò jàlábíà, hijab àti àbáyà lóríṣiríṣi. House of Zayana lẹ́ ò ti rí gbogbo ẹ̀ rà. House of Zayana wà ní 52 Ọlọ́run ṣògo road, adjacent Redeemed Church, Agape Parish, Ọlọ́run ṣògo Abẹ́òkúta. Lórí Instagram House of Zayana 08165688618. House of Zayana, ilé ìtajà tá a ti ń tojúlówó aṣọ àti nǹkan aṣaralóge tí ń gbéni níyì.
You're still on to Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Thank you so much for joining us once again. And of course, still going through and perusing the pages of our newspapers this morning. We pick up the Vanguard newspaper next for review and see what we have on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. From the front page, you get to see Tinubu's certificate controversy. 107 senators urge caution. Rule of law as Keyamo and Atiku disagree. We have that with several riders on page 5 in the Vanguard newspaper. Away from that, you get to see CBN reduces cash mob by 82% to 150 billion naira. That on page 19 in the Vanguard newspaper. Tinubu snubs Nigeria leaders over thirst for direct talks. Page 8 captures and graces that very story. Humanitarian minister talks tough. 6 audits of N-Power program. Also on page 8 in the Vanguard, you get to see the details of the very story. Tinubu Ogun governor, Mon legal icon, Chris Ogunbanjo. That on page 10 in the Vanguard newspaper. On the Israeli-Palestine war, United States moves nuclear aircraft carrier close to crisis zone. You have that on page 25 in the Vanguard newspaper. And also from the front page, INEC worried over security situation in Imo, Bayelsa and Kogi. That on page 9 in the Vanguard newspaper. And also you get to see from the front page of the Punch News, the Vanguard rather, you get to see picture of Adeniyi, executive director, Omolola, also independent executive, right on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. It's VFD Group's shares listing. You get to see the picture of them. And also APC flags of Kogi Guba campaign. You get to see the picture of that right on the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Away from the front page, let's see a couple of the stories we have in the Vanguard newspaper. We'll start with this very report right here. A report revealing that 13.4 million babies born premature in 2020 study revealing that with the rider trace a high number to poor maternal health and malnutrition. A new study has shown that an estimated 13.4 million babies were born before 37 full weeks of pregnancy in 2020, and this means that 1 in 10 babies worldwide were born early. The study, published in a Lancet by authors from the World Health Organization (WHO), the United Nations Children's Fund (UNICEF), and the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, bemoan the impact of health and survival, adding that poor maternal health malnutrition contributes to high numbers of preterm birth. The author posited that since prematurity is the leading cause of death in children's early years, there was an urgent need to strengthen both care for preterm babies as well as prevention efforts, particularly maternal health and nutrition, to improve childhood survival. From the Vanguard, 13.4 million babies born premature in 2020, says study, revealing that. Also, from the Vanguard newspaper, let's see this very report as well from the Vanguard. All right, this one is given reports on passports, and it says Interior Minister decries waiting time, declares 5,000 compliance fee illegal. Well, the writer says, my daughter waited for 6 months to get passport. The federal government has declared as illegal the 5,000 naira compliance fee charged by some personnel of the Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS) in some passport offices to help applicants process their passports. Minister of Interior Dr. Olubumi Tunji-Ojo made the declaration while responding to questions by the Vanguard. Compliance fee? I am hearing it for the first time. We will plead with Nigerians to assist us to succeed. Do not pay compliance fee. If there is anything like that, do not pay for your right. There is nothing in the books that is compliance fee. Please let us educate our people to know, he stated. And the rest of that interview with the Interior Minister in the Vanguard newspaper on passports. Interior Minister decries waiting time, declares 5,000 naira compliance fee illegal. And away from that, we also have from the Metro page of the Vanguard newspaper, NDLEA arrests 67-year-old for ingesting cocaine to fund marriage. With a rider, arrests Saudi-bound lady with 52 pellets of at Kano Airport. Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested a 67-year-old trafficker, Chukwuemeka Clement, at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, NAIA Abuja, for ingesting 100 wraps of cocaine. Chukwuemeka claimed that he ventured into the criminal enterprise to raise enough money to marry a new wife and start life afresh after wasting 30 years of his life in Brazil, Ethiopia, and Thailand. NDLEA said Chukwuemeka was arrested on Tuesday, October 3, during the inward clearance of passengers on Ethiopian Airline Flight 951 from Addis Ababa and taken for body scan, which revealed multiple pellets in his stomach. From the Vanguard, you get the rest of our very story. NDLEA arrests 67-year-old for ingesting cocaine to fund marriage. Away from that, let's go to the entertainment page of the Vanguard. I don't like when girls toast me. Osimhen speaks about his love life. Super Eagles striker Victor Osimhen has revealed he prefers being one initiating a romantic relationship rather than the other way round. The Napoli forward made this known in an interview with YouTuber Kotikio, where he discussed growing up, his family, and his career, among other things. And recall the 24-year-old is in a relationship with the German Stephanie Ledwig, and together have a 1-year-old daughter named Haley. I don't like when girls toast me. Osimhen speaks about his love life. For those still having intention to toast Osimhen, you have this from the horse's mouth. And away from that entertainment story, let's quickly move to the This Day newspaper to get some of the headlines on the front page of the This Day newspaper. All right, we have headlines like Atiku, no matter new attempt to twist fact, Tinubu's INEC certificate is forgery. This comes with double riders, and you get the details on page 6 in the This Day newspaper. Corporate icon Chris Ogunbanjo is there, Tinubu months. You have that on page 6 as well in the This Day newspaper. Also from the front page, Better Idol Talk Stuff says federal government schemes under our watch will no longer be business as usual. Page 10 captures that very story. Tinubu unveils ambitious plan to create 500,000 jobs as Ajaokuta rolling mill nears completion. You have that also on page 6 in the This Day newspaper. And of course, you get to see the picture of APC governorship campaign and presentation of flag to, you see the chairman of Progressive Congress National Campaign Council for Kogi State governorship election, Governor Dapo Abiodun, Vice President Kashim Shettima, governorship candidate of the APC in Kogi State, Usman Ododo, and National Chairman of APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, Kogi State Governor Yaya Bello, and River State APC governorship candidate Tonye Cole at the official flag off of the Kogi State APC governorship campaign and presentation of flag to Dodo in Lokoja yesterday. You get to see a picture of that, and also you get to see the picture of the executive director, VFD Group PLC, John Okonkwo, and non-executive director, Kelvin Orogun, and group managing director and CEO, Nonso Opala, and CEO, Nigerian Exchange Limited, NGX, Temi Pukwala, and chairman, VFD Group, Olatunde Busari, senior advocate of Nigeria, and of course, chairman, NGX Group, Alhaji Dr. Humaru Kwairanga, during the listing of the VFD Group PLC shares on the main board of the NGX in Lagos recently. Away from the front page, let's see the belly of the This Day newspaper. Let's start with Atiku. Atiku says, no matter new attempt to twist fact, Tinubu's INEC certificate is forgery. This comes with double riders. Advises president to tread path of honor by resigning. Alleges plan to gag media ahead of FBI's release of files. Former Vice President and People's Democratic Party, PDP presidential candidate in the February 25 elections, Atiku Abubakar, said, no matter how hard President Bola Tinubu and his agents tried to twist the facts, the president remained guilty of forgery. Atiku, who also alleged that some of the president's aides had commenced a campaign of propaganda to further confuse Nigerians about the forgery allegations against the president, however, advised Tinubu to tread the path of honor by resigning from his office. At the same time, Atiku has alleged that the Tinubu administration had already perfected an elaborate and sinister plot to gag the media ahead of the release of the records containing his criminal investigations by the Federal Bureau of Investigation, FBI. And in a statement by his media advisor, Paul Ibe, Atiku said, since Tuesday last week, when the deposition regarding President Bola Tinubu's educational qualifications came to the fore in the United States, there have been several attempts to twist the facts of the matter, which deliberately aim to confuse the mind of the public concerning the matter. Atiku, no matter new attempt to twist fact, Tinubu's INEC certificate is forgery. Away from that very story, Tinubu unveils ambitious plan to create 500,000 jobs as Ajaokuta rolling mill nears completion. President Bola Tinubu has declared that with the hitherto abandoned Ajaokuta Steel Complex now nearing completion, the project would have the capacity to employ 500,000 Nigerians once designated as a free trade zone. The president further promised to fully harness the potential of the infrastructure once it was completed, as it would boost Nigerian foreign direct investment and provide avenue for the creation of much needed conducive business environment for all sectors to thrive. Vice President Kashim Shettima, who represented the president, made this known yesterday at the flag-off of the All Progressives Congress APC governorship campaign in Lokoja, the Kogi State capital. From the This Day, Tinubu unveils ambitious plan to create 500,000 jobs as Ajaokuta rolling mill nears completion. And away from that, we also have this very story. Nigeria's foreign debt service hit $1.81 billion in 7 months. Data released by the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has revealed that the federal government has allocated a substantial $1.81 billion to service its foreign debt obligations during the initial 7 months of 2023. A breakdown of the numbers shows that in January 2023, the federal government dedicated $112.35 million to service its foreign debt. February witnessed a higher outlay of $288.5 million, while March marked a substantial expense of $400.5 million. From the This Day, you get more analysis to that very story. From the business page, Nigeria's foreign debt service hit $1.81 billion in 7 months. And moving to the sport page of the This Day newspaper on MPFL. Gombe stunned Enyimba Remo Stars Alimi Hunt Rangers. Gombe United, a new entrance to the Nigerian top flight. Sporting Lagos were the two teams that headlined the match day 2 of the Nigerian Premier Football League NPFL weekend matches across the country. At the Pantami Stadium, Gombe United stunned cup holders Enyimba of Aba with 2-0 victory. Chijoke Alakwe got the curtain raiser for the hosts 2 minutes before the halftime break. Hamed Jimo made a 3-point save for Gombe when he added the insurance goal on the dot of 90 minutes. And elsewhere, the Uyo Sporting Lagos secured top spot on the table after holding former champions Akwa United to a goalless draw at the Nest of Champions Stadium. The rest of that very reports in the This Day newspaper. On MPFL, Gombe stunned Enyimba Remo Stars Alimi Hunt Rangers. And also a sports story from the This Day. West Africa Trophy, it's 5/5 for Nigeria's Yellow Greens. The Nigerian national men's cricket team, the Yellow Greens, have maintained their unblemished record at the ongoing West African Trophy taking place at the Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos. The event as Ghana, Sierra Leone, Rwanda as host Nigeria, taking part in a T20I format game. And 10 of the 20 matches have been completed so far since the event started on October 4, 2023. And Nigeria currently stands head and shoulder above other competitors with 10 points from 5 wins in 5 matches. And Ghana comes in second place with 6 points from 3 wins in 5 matches too. Rwanda has 4 points from 2 wins, while Sierra Leone has lost all 5 matches at the event so far. On the West Africa Trophy, it's 5/5 for Nigeria's Yellow Greens. The details of that from the sports pages of the This Day newspaper. And from that very sports story, we say our buys on Freshlight on Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. Follow us on our social media platform. On Facebook at Al-IyamoyeTv and radio. On the X platform, that's Twitter, at Al-Iyamoye_TV, and on Instagram at Al-IyamoyeTV. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Al-IyamoyeTV and radio, and also turn on your alarm button to get notifications of our programs. I remain Modupe Akinyosoye. Good morning.